At this point now, there are tons and tons of law enforcement out right here on the freeway here in Minneapolis, Minnesota, because protesters were actually marching onto the freeway. And that's when law enforcement came out and started spreading out tear gas as well as pepper spray. I want to get out the way and show you what we're seeing right now. Take a look. You see here the protesters who are scurried away from the freeway because of law enforcement. You can just see the presence there is right now. They were flying down the ramp, Annalise, to get to the freeway. Almost ran over a couple of people, in fact. And we also saw a couple of instances where it was 2 full bus loads of SWAT and National Guard and other law enforcement getting off of these buses, fully armored, trying to get people off of the freeway. Now, at this point, I'm looking, Annalise, I'm telling you right now, there are thousands of people, thousands of protesters out here today, all in for justice for George Floyd. All the people here say that at this point, they're going to continue to fight until all 4 police officers are put into custody. Now, we have heard some tear gas for the past couple of minutes. We were kind of in danger earlier. That's why we kind of had to get away. But we're back now. And at this point, law enforcement is trying to secure this area. We see them come back and forth here off of the freeway, trying to get people away. And there's something interesting as well, is that there will be a curfew implemented for 8 o'clock today. And the biggest thing that law enforcement could possibly do, something they did yesterday, Annalise, once 8 o'clock curfew hit, they were going out on the streets, throwing out tear gas, as well as mace on people, just to get them away and spread the protesters apart, just in case there could be possible violent protests as well as riots that could happen, because we've seen several buildings all across the area set on fire, as well as a lot of looting in the area. And law enforcement and officials here say they've had enough of that, and that's why they're trying to do the best they can to enforce these protesters. But for the most part, we've seen peaceful protests during the day, but the biggest concern are the protests at night. Annalise?
Daryl Forges, can I ask as well, we were told when the police officer who held down George Floyd was arrested, that would help de-escalate the tensions. It doesn't seem to have helped at this point. We were told when the National Guard came in, that would help de-escalate things, and it still seems just as febrile as ever. What do you think will be the turning point that will see people calm down, or is this just going to continue indefinitely?
Well, Annalise, I think this is going to continue the way it's looking. I mean, the people out here say they're not going anywhere. They're going to continue to fight for the justice of George Floyd. And at this point, yeah, there's a lot of National Guardsmen out here. They've deployed a lot, thousands at this point, just to meet the manpower because of the amount of protesters we've seen out here. And they're coming out in busloads. I'm talking several busloads, tons of National Guardsmen, as well as state troopers, police officers from all over here, just to make sure that nothing violent goes off later on. But they've been spraying a lot of mace and pepper spray, and that's actually infuriated the protesters here more and more. I saw one protester who had pepper spray in his eyes, and he had milk to get it out of his face, and he was yelling, screaming, and crying with passion, Annalise, saying that this is not going to stop me. I'm going to continue to fight as long as it takes.